Ever snap at your kids because they asked you what's for dinner while you're literally cooking dinner? Yeah, same. And that doesn't mean that you're falling apart. It just means that you're human. And today we're talking about why you still deserve support even when you're not in crisis. You're listening to the Free to Be Mindful podcast, where busy moms get practical tips and real talk conversations to find calm, joy, and a little more breathing room in everyday life. I'm Vanessa, licensed therapist, mom coach, and a mom to a tween and toddler. Each week, we get honest about motherhood and mindset, helping you live with more presence, less pressure, without losing your, well, here we go. So if you're listening to this in real time and follow me on social media or through my newsletters, you may know that I just celebrated a birthday. And I'll be honest with you, I was feeling some type of way about it. Not because I'm getting older, but because of the realization that my life just looks really different right now since I had my baby girl last year. I went deeper with my thoughts on my newsletter, but here's what I'll share with you right now. I had the luxury, and yes, I know it's a luxury, of taking the day off for my birthday. And after about 30 minutes of journaling, I had a dramatic energy shift. And now I know how woo it sounds to say that I journaled for a half an hour and then felt like a new woman. And I know that even journaling for 30 minutes, again, is a luxury. But here's what I know to be true, that even in small chunks, when we pause and check in with ourselves, so much can change. Because otherwise, our thoughts then get stuck like in a dryer spin cycle where there's just clothes tumbling around in every direction. Like you see one sock and then a sleeve and an underwear flying across. And it all feels so messy and overwhelming. Kind of like mom life, right? And journaling gave me the space to pause that very fast spin cycle and just put some things back into perspective. And here's the secret, my friends. It doesn't work because I just did this on one odd day. It works because of the time that I've spent through therapy, through coaching, and through practicing the tools that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And I'll share with you now that these tools aren't rocket science. But when you've got a professional rooting for you and reminding you how you can feel better, it does make a big difference. And yes, I've had therapy and coaching because a therapist needs support too. So I wanted to talk about this topic with you today because throughout the month of October, you'll be hearing a lot of reminders about mental health. Because October is Depression and Mental Screening Month. On October 10th, it's World Mental Health Day. And the first full week of October is recognized as Mental Illness Awareness Week. Now, personally, I don't like using the term mental illness because the truth is that we all have mental health. Just like our bodies get run down sometimes, our minds get run down too. And that doesn't mean that anything is wrong with us. It just means that our mental health is fluctuating. And that's okay. It's normal, actually. And here's a reminder that I really want you to carry throughout this entire episode. You don't need to be falling apart to deserve support. Sometimes you just need a hand to help you get out of a funk. So, how do you know if you're even experiencing a funk or in a funk? Here are 5 signs that may sound all but too familiar. So, you're more irritable or snappy than usual. Like when you snap at a partner for loading the dishwasher wrong, like somehow you've become the fork police or something. Or when your kid asks you what's for dinner about the 100th time. The second sign is when you feel drained even after sleeping, like when you wake up in the morning already counting down the hours to bedtime, or when you just sit in the car after school drop off and just stare into abyss because moving even feels impossible. The third is things that usually brought joy may feel like a chore. Like when you love baking with your kids, but even the thought of measuring flour feels like climbing Mount Everest. Or when the Saturday family walk you usually look forward to now just feels like one more thing on the calendar. The fourth is when you're stuck in overthinking mode, like when you replay a conversation with your boss 10 times, wondering if you sounded unprofessional, and suddenly you're reapplying for your job in your head at like 2 a.m. Or when you lie awake at night thinking about your kid's college application and they're only in fourth grade. And the last, when you feel disconnected, like you're just going through the motions, like when you're at dinner with your family, but mentally you're already on tomorrow's grocery list, or when you're scrolling on Instagram for an hour at night and realize that you don't even remember a single thing you saw. I'm sure that one of those resonated with you because really, we all go through it, myself included. Like when it's bedtime and you've asked your kids to brush their teeth 1,000 times, and one of them is still running around half naked, and the other one remembers that they're starving and begging for a snack. And even though it's not a huge deal, you snap and you yell. And the older one looks at you like you're nuts, and the younger one looks like you like you're a monster. And meanwhile, you're thinking, wasn't bedtime supposed to be the end of my day, not the hardest part about it? Followed by then the guilt creeping in, and you begin to think, why can't I just handle this better? Or why am I such an awful mom? And the fact is that that's not necessarily depression or anxiety. Sometimes it's just being in this funk, running on empty. And it's your reminder that you too deserve support before it just builds into something bigger, because you don't need to be falling apart to deserve support. Because, my friends, if you wait until it's this huge monumental thing, then everyone suffers, including you and your relationship with your partner and the ones with your kids too. So, what happens when we ignore these signs and we just keep pushing through like we've been taught to do and it just doesn't go away? Well, obviously, it builds, but then over the course of time, that constant irritation then turns into resentment. And that exhaustion then becomes burnout. And that disconnection becomes distance in our relationships. And this is why I keep repeating it. You don't need to be falling apart to deserve support, because when we catch these signs early, then it lets you shift things before they start to snowball on you and become something harder to handle. So, let's talk about some real doable tips that you can try even when you notice yourself in this funk. And research shows, by the way, that these tips, albeit simple, that they actually do work. So the first is taking micro pauses, taking 2 minutes, let's say in the car before going inside, just to notice how you're feeling. Studies show that even these small pauses lower stress hormones. And let's be honest, sometimes the car is the only place of quiet that we get. The second tip is to name it. Say it out loud or write it down. Say, I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling real tired. Research shows that when we label our emotions, it actually decreases their intensity. So, yes, talking to yourself can help. The third tip is to move your body. And it doesn't have to be like this hour-long Pilates class. It can be a brisk 10-minute walk or stretching while the pasta water boils or a dance party in the kitchen. Moving your body in some way, shape, or form releases endorphins, which is nature's natural stress relievers. The fourth is to shift so that you get more gratitude into your life. What's one thing that you're thankful for today? Harvard research shows that gratitude increases long term happiness, and it doesn't have to be that deep. Or the Thanksgiving gratitude list. It can be, my coffee was hot this morning. And if you got to drink that coffee while it was still hot, then that's basically a miracle. And the fifth is to reach out for help. Text a friend, schedule coffee, book a coaching session. People who feel socially supported are 50% more likely to live longer. So, connection literally saves lives. And let me tell you, I did not grow up with any of these tools. As a Latina, the unspoken rule was to just push and power through. There was no such thing as sitting still unless you were in church, maybe. And if you said you were bored, the response was, well, then clean something, right? Women were just expected and are still expected to just keep going and keep pushing forth. And unlearning that for me has taken years, if not decades. And even now, just recently, when my brothers and I were talking about therapy, my mom was stunned and asked, "Wait, you have a therapist for what?" And inside, I'm thinking, for a lot of things. But outside, I just smiled and said, "Yes, even therapists have therapists, and that's okay." And something that I really want you to walk away with is that support doesn't have to look the same for everyone. Yes, sometimes it is therapy. Sometimes we need to dig into our old wounds and work through some heavy things. And sometimes we are living with heavy diagnoses that we need help on. But sometimes it's just coaching, focusing on patterns, on mindsets, and practical tools for everyday life. Sometimes it's community, going to church or getting out to an event and simply being around other women who get you. And none of these are better than another. They're just different forms of support depending on you need and what it is that you're going through. Let's face it, sometimes you do need therapy, and that's okay. Or sometimes you just need coaching. Or other times you just need your BFF showing up with some cafecito and some gossip, right? Think about it like preventative care. You don't wait until your teeth are falling out to go to the dentist, and you don't wait until your body shuts down to exercise. At least you shouldn't. So, why wait for a full breakdown to take care of your mental health? That's why early support really does matter because it helps you build resilience and not just to cope with things, but to actually build resilience. It helps prevent burnout and resentment, and it helps you to get skills or gain skills before challenges become unmanageable. And let's be honest, when moms are supported, everyone in the house wins, not just you, but your kids, your partners, everyone. And here's the second thing that I really want you to hear, but also get. A lot of moms don't think that they need support because they're not clinically anxious, right? Or clinically depressed. But mom mental health doesn't always show up in those ways. Sometimes it shows up as irritability that you just can't shake, or lying awake at night with your brain spinning of all the things you have to do, or snapping at your kids and then feeling guilty right after, or waking up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. Because let's be real, 8 hours with kids doesn't mean that it's 8 restful hours. Someone always wakes up. Someone always needs water or to go to the bathroom at 3 a.m. And sometimes it looks like realizing that you poured so much into your family that you don't even realize what lights you up anymore. And when those things all go unaddressed, us moms just push through. We tell ourselves, "Ugh, we're fine." Like everybody goes through it. And yes, everybody can go through hard times, but that often leads to burnout when it's unaddressed. And if it doesn't lead to burnout, it can lead to disconnection, to resentment, which is the exact opposite of what we want for our families. And that's why I am so passionate about working one on one with moms through coaching, because moms don't need another parenting book or another Instagram hack. What we need is support that speaks to what's really going on underneath the surface, underneath the fake smiles that we all put on. So, if you're interested in coaching, how it works is we start with a free 60-minute discovery call, just a real conversation about where you're at. Together, we create personalized strategies, things that you can actually use in your day to day, not just in theory, right? Not just the book stuff. And then the third thing is that when you really dedicate time for yourself and you implement these strategies over the course of 3 months, you begin to show up differently. You begin to think calmer, to think clearer, and to begin to be more connected with your kids. And most importantly, my friends, with yourself. And the best part is that you don't have to wait until you're falling apart to seek support, because coaching is the support you should have before crisis. It's building resilience, preventing burnout, and giving yourself the permission to not go through this by yourself. Because when moms are supported, we again know that our families are supported. And when you start to feel more like yourself, you show up in the ways that you wanted to, with more patience, more presence, more peace, and yes, even a little more joy. So if you're nodding along with me, thinking, yeah, that's me. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see me nodding along as I'm talking about it too. Then please just check the links in the show notes to book your free discovery call, and let's see if coaching is the support that you've been needing all along. So, amiga, at this time, I invite you to just think of one thing that's felt really heavy for you lately and hold that thought in your mind for a moment. Notice how heavy it might feel. Maybe it's the pile of laundry that never seems to shrink, with the exception of that one sock that just disappears into thin air. Maybe it's the constant arguing at bedtime. Maybe it's the tension in your relationship or the guilt snapping at your kids. Maybe it's the loneliness that comes from feeling like you're doing it all by yourself. And now I want you to ask yourself, what else is true? If all of that stuff is true, what else is true? Maybe what's also true is that you made it through the day. Maybe what's also true is that you are loved or that you have support available, even if you haven't used it yet. And maybe what's also true is that you deserve the support, even when you're not falling apart. Both truths can be true at the same time. And I hope that as you think about these two things, you allow that perspective to remind you that you're never alone in this, nor do you have to do it alone. So, my friends, remember that you don't have to be falling apart to deserve support, that taking care of your mental health doesn't always mean seeing a therapist. But if you are, or if you do need to, that's okay too. And if you really need practical strategies and someone who gets the invisible load of motherhood, that's where a mom coach like me can come in. You deserve support right now, in this season, not next year in 2026, right now, exactly as you are. So, whether support looks like therapy, coaching, or just finally texting that friend back, don't wait until you're falling apart. Start now and start small. And if you think that you have a mom friend or an amiga mom that needs to hear this for themselves, please be sure to share this episode or this YouTube link with them. As always, thank you for allowing me to share some space with you. And always remember that you are free to be mindful. Catch you next time.